It's green tomato season, and let's talk about them for just a moment. Just a moment. So about this time, you're walking out into your garden and you're looking at everything and you're looking at the green tomatoes and you're going, darn, I wish they would ripen. There's a chance that they could ripen. Let me show you what to look for. This tomato, still not ready to be picked, but it will ripen if you put it on the counter. There you go. This tomato, because it started to turn red, you can see a little bit of tinge of red in it. If you pick this one and you set it on the counter, or you put it in a box, or you wrap it, sometimes I'll wrap them with newspaper and put them in a storage box and then check them. This will ripen. This one will ripen. This one, however, it doesn't have a tinge of red to it. It is a totally green tomato. The chance of this ripening when you pick it off of the vine is slim. It could totally shock you and surprise you, but it is slim. And what would I use this for? There's all kinds of recipes for using green tomatoes. Fried green tomatoes, yes, the movie was right. There are fried green tomatoes. You can actually can these tomatoes to fry them later. You can actually make green tomato pie, green tomato cake. There's all kinds of recipes for making them. And this is what I love about it. I love experimenting with it. I love taking the green tomatoes off my vine when I know there's no more chance of heat or warmth or anything, and figuring out how I can use them and make them, which is why I was canning them in the last TikTok. So there you go. The really green ones that have absolutely no color to them but the green may not ripen. They may, you might be surprised. But the ones that have a small little tinge of pink to them, and these will ripen. And don't be afraid to experiment with them. I mean, it's like green, right? You can actually substitute these as tomatillos. Not as flavorful, totally different, but in the same family and can be substituted. So like you could roast them with some olive oil. Oh, I could go on and on. But have fun with your green tomatoes, do some Google searches, and figure out something fun and new each year to make with them until you find what you love. Now you know what I know. Okay, here we go. We are working out of this little tiny magazine that we got from the Dollar Tree, and it has green tomato sauce. And I happen to have green tomatoes. So let's try it. So I'm reading through the instructions, like I usually do, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, I already think of how I can change this up. So we're going to use the immersion blender instead of the food processor. And let's get going. So we are roughly chopping the tomatoes, green tomatoes. We're throwing them in the pot, and then we're going to start adding all the other ingredients. We're just going to throw it all in the pot. It's going to be one of those dishes. I'm sorry, but doesn't this look amazingly delicious? It smells really good too, and it's green tomatoes. I'm supposed to have blended it all up, but I'm going to do it a little differently. You'll see. Here's where we go. We're going to immersion blend. So this is what we have. I basically boiled it until the tomatoes were all soft. Now we're going to blend it all together and go from there. Now we're going to simmer it for the 5 minutes that it wants. I love that immersion blender. It's not good for everything. This has an awful lot of vinegar and lime juice in it. So it'll be water bathed. Ew, I'm so excited. It smells amazing. And there you go. They just came out. Not sure how they taste. It smelled amazing making it. Give me a couple days and I'll give you a cost comparison on it and a taste testing. Okay, it's time to talk about green tomato sauce. We're going to check for sealage, pop off the rings, lift and check to make sure that they've sealed, and I'll get right back with you after I get this done, and we're going to wash the jars and talk about the cost, because I'm pleasantly surprised, and the taste. All 6 jars have sealed. Now let's talk about the recipe. This recipe came out, surprisingly, out of a magazine I found at the Dollar Tree in Thurmont, Maryland. So I came home, I'm looking at it and I'm going, green tomato sauce. That sounds very intriguing. This is what we have. It cost me $1.09 to make the entire batch. Now, what was actually the money? I went out to my garden. The green tomatoes were free. The onions were 69 cents. I had to use onions from the store. Jalapenos, totally free. Got them from when I harvested all the ones in our garden from my freezer because I pre-chop them all, so I just threw some in. The garlic cloves I had to pay for. And the fresh cilantro was leftover stuff that I almost threw away, and I picked through and got more than enough to make this. The whole entire thing was only $1.09. And so for $1.09, oh, why? Let's answer your questions real quick. Let's just stop the whole thing. My Aunt Tanya crocheted this. It's an amazing washcloth. It's got soap all over it, and I'm washing the jars because I'm long-term storing them, and I don't want bugs on my jars. That's why I wash my jars. And we sit here and we have a talk while I do. Each jar cost me 18 cents. The whole entire batch was $1.09. You're using your leftover tomatoes that may or may not ripen, and instead of taking a chance, I just canned them. Now, I've never had green tomato sauce before, so I had a little bit left over because I didn't have enough to finish another jar. And I set it aside for my husband to taste, and he loved it. He said, "This is what you're going to do with the green tomatoes every year now." And I said, "Okay, what's it taste like? What would it be good with?" And he said it would be a great enchilada sauce, and it would be an even better salsa verde substitute. And he went on to list a whole bunch of other things that he would use. So basically anything that you would use an enchilada sauce or a salsa verde for, this is what you're going to replace it with if you have green tomatoes. There you go. Don't forget to label. It just feels like we're making food out of garbage, doesn't it? I mean, how many times do you throw the tomatoes away going, "Ah, they didn't ripen," only to realize now, look at all the sauce I threw away. Ah.